All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim on this Thursday afternoon, where we've got a really good show lined up. Padres off day, although a number of games going on that are impacting San Diego potentially in their quest to get back to the postseason here in 2024. Great giveaways. We've got Miramar Air Show tickets to give away. We have Green Day tickets for next weekend at Petco Park to give away. Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas will have free picks for our listeners at 4:30. San Diego State's men's basketball schedule for next year is out. Dave Velasquez, longtime assistant, will join us at 5 p.m. And Jon Wilner, Bay Area News Group, who, of course, broke SC and UCLA to the Big Ten just over 2 years ago. He's been reporting on what's next for the Pac-12. He will join us coming up at 5:30. Now, we start with the Padres, who are off today. The White Sox, as Jim just told you, will be here this weekend. The Padres finishing off a series win against Houston yesterday with a 4-0 win behind Dylan Cease. Now, we have talked about this magic number more than like a magician talks about magic. So I'm at a point where even AJ Cassavell yesterday posted a video where he's like, listen, the magic number's 5, but, and he went through like all these events we played on the wrap-up show, and I think he has since taken the video down because I think maybe he even confused himself. So the magic number we believe to be 5, but I stick with everything we've said for the last week, too. It's a formality. They won a series against the Astros. 9 games left. Everyone behind them would need to be perfect. The Padres would have to completely fall off. It's not about if they're going to make the postseason. It's about what seed are they going to be in the postseason.
So, okay, this weekend, if you sweep...
Oh, here we go.
If you sweep the White Sox, the Braves, who already won today, have 3 games against the Marlins.
That's correct.
That would mean you would need the Braves to lose 2 of 3 and you sweep, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
With the magic number 5, because 3 from the Padres would take 5-2, and 2 losses from the Braves would take 2-0.
Correct. So
the earliest possible now becomes Sunday.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win 3 games until Sunday.
Yeah, because the Braves won today. So today would determine if you would have been able to clinch on Saturday.
Correct.
And because the Braves blew out the Reds.
I mean, they blew them out. Yeah. It was pretty lopsided. They scored like 15 runs today.
Yeah. Then the earliest now is Sunday. But you're going to need a lot of help from the fish, Miami Skip Schumachers.
Right. Because, the more that we think about this, here, 2 things can be true. The Padres are going to the postseason, but they most likely don't clinch this weekend. Based on everything that you just said, it's going to take the Braves losing a series to the Marlins. Would you find that likely or unlikely? I find it unlikely that the Braves lose a series to the Marlins. Agree?
Agree. Unfortunately.
And is it likely or unlikely that the Padres sweep the White Sox? You could say it's likely, but it may be likely. So maybe you get to LA on Tuesday with a magic number of 1. Do the Braves play on Monday next week? Could you clinch on an off day? I'm not a big fan of clinching on an off day.
I hate the clinching on off days.
What are they going to do? All get together on Zoom and celebrate?
I also hate the clinching when you're not playing, and then you play later that night.
Oh, yes. It's a great point. You're sneezing already? It's 3:00.
It's 3:07.
Those are magic sneezes.
Yeah, magic number sneezes.
Right. So do the Braves play on Monday, or who plays on Monday?
If they do an off day, would that just be weird if all of a sudden the 7th inning of the game that has to go their way for them to clinch? Oh, okay, Atlanta's losing, guys. Get your ass to the ballpark right now. We're setting up the plastic and the champagne.
That's
and
not
everything.
going to happen because they're going to be on the road on Monday.
That's what happened with the Brewers recently. They clinched before their game the other day, and they went out and they walked off the Phillies, and then they celebrated like that's the moment that they clinched.
But this is different because even in that moment, they played the same day. If the Padres clinched on Monday, they're in a hotel.
The Braves do not play Monday.
Okay.
But here is something that is interesting about...
What about the Mets?
Mets do not play Monday either. That Tuesday starts the series with the Mets and the Braves and the Dodgers and the Padres.
Okay.
Padres and Dodgers start at 7:10 Pacific Standard Time. The Mets and the Braves start at 4:20. Conceivably, so you could clinch during the game.
No, even someone probably is going to lose by 7:10. That's 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's about the length of a game. Most games are shorter.
Yeah.
So by the time you take the field, there's a very high scenario that someone has lost between the Mets and the Braves.
Well, they're not going to tie.
And here's the other thing. We've been talking about the Braves with their magic number. We don't know what the Mets are going to do this week. And if they fall off, they could be eliminated come next week.
But the Mets don't matter as much as the Braves when it comes to magic numbers because the Mets are currently, as it stands,
Has a better record
in the postseason picture.
Right. They have a better record. Now, the Mets this weekend play the Phillies for 4 games.
I mean, you could conceivably see like the Phillies taking out the Mets.
Exactly.
And then vice versa, the Braves take out the Marlins. And now you got like a scenario where you're tied and that helps the Padres out. So where the Mets land in this situation? Do they need to lose any games this weekend for the Padres magic number to go down?
No, not necessarily, but potentially. Let's not confuse. We're already confused.
I'm
so
so confused.
But hear me out. This is what I've determined. The most likely day that the Padres clinch a postseason spot is Tuesday. Why do I say that? Because I think asking for all those things to happen this weekend is probably a little much. A sweep plus 2 Braves losses. But let's say you get most of that work done. You get 2 out of 3, or you sweep, or the Braves lose 1 time. If you enter Tuesday with a magic number of 1 or less, you're in great shape.
Yeah.
Actually, if you enter Tuesday with a magic number of 1, right, you may clinch before you take the field if Atlanta loses to New York.
I wouldn't prefer that, but who cares?
It's so anticlimactic.
It's very like, this isn't to the no-hitter level, but no-hitters, or even perfect games, those are much more rare. You want the one singular pitcher to
absolutely
finish that
I don't
game
need
out.
the 4 pitchers.
Yeah. That's how I feel about clinching. I want them to clinch because they won a game, not because they were sitting at home or getting ready for a game or in the middle of a game. All of a sudden, hey, we clinched. Yes. Because then you lose. Are you going to celebrate after the game? Like,
yeah, you said that's what they did in 2022.
They did, but they were at home.
Well, a celebration is a celebration. I think you do. Here's the thing, though. If you lose to the Dodgers on Tuesday, who won today or will, and they go 4 up on you, if the Dodgers beat you Tuesday and go something like 5 up on you.
Well, the Dodgers magic number I saw today is 6 for the division. Now it is. It was 7 before the game. Now it's 6.
And it's going to be 6, assuming they beat the Marlins today? Because the game's not over.
Right. So they tweeted out like our magic number is 7 for the division.
Okay. So my point is they could absolutely be clinching on their home field against you. Maybe not Tuesday. But
for sure
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully not. Hopefully you put it off by beating them and prevent it from occurring. But it could be a very weird week.
Yeah.
You've even forecasted this is a possibility where there's a day where the Dodgers beat the Padres, but the Padres get the benefit of a Braves loss. And the Padres clinch a playoff spot the same day the Dodgers win the division. That's possible.
It could be.
That's very weird.
That's a very weird situation, which I don't
want to happen.
What I want to happen, and what's probably looking like the most likely scenario, is Tuesday or Wednesday's clinch day.
Yep.
And you're going to know before the game. So if by chance on Tuesday you do clinch before the game, go out there, beat the Dodgers so that you can celebrate after the game.
Right. But are you proposing, though, that if they do clinch, Braves lose to the Mets 5-4, right? A game ends at 7:05. Mm-hmm. They know they've clinched the playoff spot.
Before the game started, right?
Yeah, before. But you're right. The division's still on the line, and they're playing good baseball. And they go out there, and let's just say they lose to the Dodgers. Just hear me out. They lose 5-4. Are you proposing not celebrating in that scenario?
I'm proposing not celebrating.
Really? So, but that's a little bit of Mets 2022. They didn't celebrate because they lost out in the division. They never celebrated a wild card. They then lost in the wild card round. They won 100 games that year.
I'm proposing that if you find out before the game Tuesday that you have clinched, you're not celebrating until your next win.
That's kind of new. That's a new rule, though. You know what I mean? Like you're putting in a new rule.
Now it's probably not going to happen. They'll probably celebrate.
I think they'll celebrate.
I got the old school in me where I just like things to have a nice flow to it. I don't want to
not celebrate if the division's still not decided. Like if you're still alive for the division, are you celebrating the wild card?
Another good point.
To your point, here's the most likely
the
scenario.
Yankees celebrated yesterday, and they haven't won the division yet.
Correct. But apparently that was up to whatever judge decided. Yeah.
So, hey,
Manny.
Well, also, I mean, they won the game, so they celebrated after the win. And I'm sure if and when they win the division here, they'll celebrate again.
Here's what's most likely.
Celebrations in baseball, man.
The Padres are playing great baseball, but here's what's most likely. The most likely scenario is the Dodgers win the division. I hate to say it, but it's just true. They're 4 games up with a win today. So that's the most likely scenario. What's then the next most likely scenario? The Padres are the 4 seed. Then the most likely scenario is what? The Mets or the Diamondbacks, the team you're facing. What's the standings there between the Mets and the Diamondbacks entering play today?
Right now. Ooh, I have a postseason tracker. That's cool. Arizona and New York are tied. And you're 2.5 up on both those teams.
I mean, who would you rather face? 70470, start it with team. We'll talk about that on the other side, or 877-767-4760.
It's still not decided, by the way, that you're going to be the 4. Like, to me,
no, definitely. But I'm just saying what's most likely.
Most likely is you host
one of those two teams. Most likely.
But you still have to play pretty decent baseball here, and you can't let up against the White Sox. And then the final 6 games of the season on the road could determine home field if, if the Mets have a good series versus the Braves and knock them out, and say you have a bad series against the Dodgers, you'll quote unquote have clinched, but the Braves or the Mets are going to be on your ass.
All right, we'll discuss that on the other side. We've got great giveaways today: Green Day tickets, Miramar Air Show tickets, and great guests as well. Chris Hodge at 4:30 with free picks. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant at 5 p.m. The Aztec schedule is out for the year. And John Wilner, Bay Area News Group with realignment swirling involving the Pac-12 at 5:30. It's Jon and Jim. All right, keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere. Whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home, just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. We've got great giveaways today. Green Day tickets, Miramar Air Show tickets. We've got good guests for you as well. We're here until 6 p.m. So you were saying before the break, you're like, this thing is far from in the bag, which is definitely the case. But from a what's most likely scenario, I still think it rings true. Dodgers division, Padres 4 seed. Now, the Mets Diamondbacks thing is completely up in the air. They're tied with each other with, a week and a half to play. But for the Padres to be passed by the Mets or the Diamondbacks, Padres are going to go what to close? I mean, they're not going to play well. They're going to go 4-5, something like that, to lose a couple of games in the standings. Someone's going to go 6-3 or 7-2. Yeah, the Diamondbacks play the Padres. But my point is, I think if you take care of business against the White Sox, you're in pretty good shape.
So the Mets play today, 4:15 against the Phillies. They start a 4-game series with them today.
So root for the Phillies.
And then 3 at Atlanta and 3 versus a Milwaukee team that might just be getting ready for the postseason at that point in time or lining things up.
But that's still not easy.
Yeah. It's on the road.
And all that, though, with the Phillies in there.
The Mets schedule is tough.
Yep.
But with them only being 2 games back in the loss column.
And having the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Citi Field for this thing.
I feel like right now, just like looking at it, they have become the scariest team behind you that could derail this whole 4 seed hosting at Petco scenario that we've talked about and felt really good about for the last week or so.
Why are you scaring me like this? You did this a couple of weeks ago, and I looked at the standings, and the Padres were tied in the loss column with everyone. That is kind of scary. 2 games in the loss column is really only 1 when you don't have a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So to your point, if you lose 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium,
and you lose 2 or 3 in Arizona,
all of a sudden the Mets could overtake you.
That's why
it's a bit of it's something to consider.
That's why this weekend is also so vitally important
that you win all 3.
You just got to sweep the White Sox.
Get a little bit of buffer. Get another game of buffer.
Yeah, don't mess around.
Yes.
And hopefully the Mets lose to the Phillies and they split that series and you can sweep the White Sox here. And then it will be really tough for the Mets to catch you.
That's a great point. I mean, think about it from the reason I'd rather play the Diamondbacks is sheerly based on the Mets lost that wild series 2 years ago to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, a lot of those players aren't there and vice versa.
Yeah.
And the Mets have actually played better than the Diamondbacks recently, especially in the real recent 10 or 15 day stretch where even Lindor's been out, but they've played really well. So they're hot. They've had your number in the regular season, and they probably are looking for revenge based on what happened 2 years ago. That full combination, to me, I'd prefer to avoid the Mets. Wouldn't you? I'll take the Diamondbacks over the Mets, at least in my head.
Mets are 12-4 in September.
That's really good.
I don't know what Arizona is.
I don't think it's that good. They've fallen off a little bit. They're probably still good.
They are. 8. They're 8 and they're 8-8.
That's a great job counting.
Thanks.
The W's you put in one column,
yeah.
The L's you put in another.
Yeah, I'm sure it's much easier.
You did on the fly.
I could probably find an easier way to do it. But
yeah, you could look at month to month. What's that?
I could.
I was like,
yeah.
Between.
So
you got to, okay, based on everything that we know, because you can't control if you play the Mets. Really? Yeah, you kind of can, I guess. But how about this? Oh, I'm going to blow your mind.
Give it to me.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Oh,
There's 3 games to go in the season.
Yeah.
If you lose to the Diamondbacks, you play them. If you beat them, you play the Mets. I blew your mind. Oh. But then again, where's the venue going to be based on that? Last day of the season. Oh, this is crazy talk, right?
Dude,
you roll over against the Diamondbacks to play them. That's asking for trouble. You know what I mean? That's like playing with the baseball gods.
So, okay, tell me that again. You roll over against the D-backs to play the
Diamondbacks to play them because they're not winning, or you beat the Diamondbacks and the Mets pass them.
because that's like right there. I mean, wow.
Whoa. Boom.
And I've already said the two teams that scare me the most in the National League are the Phillies and the Mets.
So then you're proposing rolling over against the Diamondbacks?
Well, we're not there yet.
I know, but I know it's only a week away, though.
I mean, that could be something that's a real possibility that could happen because the Mets and D-backs are tied, and theoretically, yeah, that could be a situation where you beat the D-backs, you're facing the Mets, or you roll over and you face the D-backs. Which one would you rather face? I would rather face Arizona. That's just me personally.
But there's something about in professional sports when you do something like that you've like opened the can of worms.
You've messed with the baseball gods.
Yeah, sitting guys week 17 in the NFL,
it's
or
like
playing the same opponent again.
NBA resting guys like to maybe get a better seed or whatever.
I feel like that, especially in baseball. I feel like
I think
you kind of respect the game.
I think this team has the right mindset of we're just going to go out. We're going to worry about our own business. Yes, obviously we're scoreboard watching, but we're going to take care of our own business. And at the end of the year, wherever we're at, however many wins we're at, then that's where we're going to go. We're not sitting here being like, oh, we got to get this scenario. Like, yeah, getting the 4 seed is very important. And I'm sure they've talked about it for sure. That's what they think. I don't think they would roll over just to face the D-backs instead of the Mets.
All right, here's what we're going to do on the other side. We'll hear from Manny Machado after his 2-homer game. He's approaching a milestone. There's another player in baseball today that might reach a milestone that's never been reached. We'll share the latest there on the other side. Plus, we'll hear from Manny Machado. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, Jon and Jim with you, and you need to get to Jamul Casino this football season, especially here in September, because every single Monday night in September, you've got a chance to win big with Monday Night Live $100,000 punch-out.
Yeah, with 10 winners every hour, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, you're going to earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $100,000.
They've got great restaurants, including Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. We were there a week ago. It's spectacular. All the food, all the drinks, the televisions. They also have endless dining 5 nights a week. Their endless dining options include a Saturday surf and turf buffet. You're going to absolutely love it. They've gone over the top with a perfect combination of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, get to Jamul Casino all football season long, including every Monday night for Monday Night Live $100,000 punch-out. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else. All right, this update is brought to you by the West Automotive Group. Padres, they have an off day today. They start their final home series of the year tomorrow night. Go against the White Sox. Their magic number remains at 5 to clinch a playoff berth because the Braves beat up on the Reds today. Braves will take on the Miami Marlins this upcoming weekend. And tonight, week 3 kicks off in the NFL with the Jets taking on the Patriots. 5:20 kickoff there. West Automotive Group is expanding to Oceanside. They have 5 convenient locations to serve you in Escondido, Kearney Mesa, El Cajon, Miramar UTC, and now Oceanside at South Coast Highway and Michigan Avenue. Book an appointment at westautomotivegroup.com today.
Sports 760 presents our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival. This is tomorrow and Saturday, Jim. We should go to this. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, some of the biggest artists in the world together on one stage. Gwen Stefani, Paramore, the Black Crowes, Dua Lipa, and many more. Experience the show live all weekend long. Stream it only on Hulu. Listen on iHeartRadio starting at 7:30. Kristen threatened last night, Jim, to buy Hulu because they keep marketing some shows that she's really into. I don't know what they are. But I've even seen 1 or 2 that like look really good. So it's like, do we do it? You know what I mean? It's just annoying.
You don't have Hulu?
Absolutely not.
I don't.
Which previous girlfriend of yours has it that I could access?
We use Aaron's family Hulu account.
Okay. Is it good?
Dude, this is how many accounts we have at our house.
Okay.
We have Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We got Disney Plus. We got Peacock.
Yeah.
We have Prime Video.
Yeah.
We have Hulu. We have HBO Max.
And how many of them are
YouTube TV?
actually yours?
Yeah.
Paramount Plus.
How much are you paying for?
Good question. Netflix we're not paying for.
It'll probably be quicker just to tell us what you are paying for.
Yeah, what are you paying for?
YouTube TV, Disney Plus, Prime, and Peacock.
Should I get Hulu is the only question.
What
Really?
show does she want to watch?
What is it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I told Jim last night that we watched a show on Netflix last night. What was it called? A Girl in the Picture or The Girl in the Picture, which was like mind blowing.
Is it a true crime documentary?
Yeah.
So it's a real.
But we've
events?
watched every true crime documentary in the history of the world,
We
especially
have too.
Kristen.
Yeah.
And this goes like above and beyond.
I can't wait.
Like it's that far. Like, wait, what?
When you told me that before the wrap-up show last night,
Yeah, I was like-
I texted Aaron in the other room so I could remember it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch it
because we love the murder docs.
Yeah, well, tonight's
the-
a good night.
The Vince McMahon thing comes out this week too. I think.
Yep, that's gonna be.
This doesn't involve Vince McMahon.
No, do you know who Vince McMahon is?
Yeah, he's the WWF.
Close.
He's the world champion.
He was way back when.
So I got it right. What?
Never
He's the leader of WWF.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Has been.
No.
He has been the leader of WWE.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yes.
It used to be World Wildlife Foundation or whatever it is.
Yes.
Whatever it
changed
is.
Their name.
All right, we're gonna hear from Manny Machado coming up momentarily. Padres. Anyway, you can watch that show tonight if you want because the Padres are off. Otherwise, you can't watch it.
I think we might. She texted me Saturday, but I mean,
Yeah,
maybe tonight's a good night.
yeah, could be.
You can watch it after Jets Patriots. I can't say that without laughing.
Right. Jets Patriots followed by A Girl in the Picture on Netflix.
I honestly, there is no part of me that wants to watch Jets Patriots.
The
tonight.
reason I could hate watch it with Brent, I'm down to hate watch it on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers?
I think that's compelling.
Well, one, I have 0 players on both teams in fantasy, so I could care less.
If this was last year's Jets team without Aaron Rodgers, I have no interest. I'm not watching Zach Wilson. But the fact that it is Aaron Rodgers, he's got like that pouty face, and Cal Twitter's going on, and then he went to Cal. I mean, and you root for him to lose. I mean, what?
Never mind.
It's just a lot. There's just a lot going on. Manny Machado is scorching hot. I mean, to the point that Jim is posting little Instagram videos about him. He had 2 home runs yesterday. He's got 29 for the season. He's putting this team on his back. It's not even cliche. You look at what he's done the last 80 games. He's been incredible. Here was Manny Machado, a portion of what he had to say yesterday. Another win, 2 home runs. This is Manny with the media.
Manny, just the back-to-back. Just how much fun was that to be a part of? Fernando gets it started, then you, then Solano.
I mean, just winning. I mean, winning was fun today. I mean, we beat a really good ball club out there. That was just a little extra, a little extra stop. for the steak. But I mean, it's fun, man. I mean, we're playing really good baseball. We beat a really good ball club that we're probably going to be facing later on. So to go out there and play like we did, and have Cease go out there and throw the ball like he did, it was a hell of a day.
Do these games feel like a different level of baseball, like a postseason level of baseball?
Can I ask you again?
I mean, this was another game.
I mean, we've been playing postseason baseball for the last month. Every game counts, man. I mean, it's fun, man. I mean, it's like I said, this is the team we're gonna be playing. We're gonna see them again. They're a really good ball club out there, and how we played last few days. I mean, it's a little taste of it. We're gonna continue to play. I mean, this is not over. Like we've had the same mindset all year. I mean, enjoy this today, enjoy the off day tomorrow, and we got another tough ball club coming in on Friday. So, we got to get ready for that. But let's enjoy, beating a really good ball club today.
One round you could face them in. Is that clearly the goal here? Like, is that focus when you're playing these guys? You understand what the goal is?
We've always understood what the goal is all year, and this hasn't changed, and we're going to continue to think that way.
You've seen some brilliant starting pitching over this last few days. How special was Dylan Cease today?
I mean, it was fun, man. I mean, it was a pitcher's duel back and forth. You got two of the best pitchers going head to head in the game, and I was impressed with the play behind him today and how he threw the ball, he commanded, attacked, had all his pitches working. Man, it was fun to watch behind him.
All right, that was Manny. Meanwhile, while Manny's been talking about,
there's some interesting things he said there, like, hey, this is we'll see those guys again in the World Series. Like, that's the World Series matchup.
Yeah, absolutely that. There's something else in there as well that he kind of pushed back on, like, oh yes, it's been the goal. He's like, yeah, like that's the goal. Like, we've known what the goal is, not just the postseason, but to make a run in the postseason. He was pretty confident on facing Houston. It's one thing to be confident in making the World Series. It's another thing to be confident that you're going to face Houston.
When I first heard that, I was like, he remembers they're in the American League now, right?
Right. You can't face them until the World Series. All right, so that was Manny Machado. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are in Miami. And we've talked a good bit about Shohei Otani's quest for 50-50, trying to become the first player in baseball history to do that. He is homered today. He is 4 for 4 with 2 stolen bases. He's got 49 home runs, 51 steals. He has 5 RBIs in this game. Jeff Passan has tweeted and said that it's an all-time season by an all-time player.
Can I do my impersonation of Joe Davis?
You
calling a Shohei Otani home run?
Please.
Otani, high drive to right. He is in a category by himself. Otani, 50-50.
First of all, he's got 49.
No, I was giving like when he does the 50-50.
That's pretty good. That's pretty. Now we'd almost need to compare it to Joe Davis. You know what I mean? Because I just have to hear it. But yeah,
that's kind of
that is you have
Joe
like
Davis.
his intricacies down.
Yeah.
The nuance, the inflection. I mean, listen, is it a great season? It's a great season. Is it the greatest season because it's 50-50? Probably not. I've already discounted the 50 stolen base thing. We've told you why. Because they made the bases bigger and you can't throw over. I mean, there's a stolen bases. Ronald Acuna, to your point, had 70 stolen bases last year.
Right.
That's more than 50, right?
Yeah. That's a little more than 50.
So,
and he hit 332, by the way.
Otani's had a nice year. I mean, it's a nice year. Like, what's he up to right now?
49-51.
But like overall, like 992 OPS.
That's not 1,000 OPS.
291 average.
Okay.
49 homers.
Now he's 4
RBIs.
for 4 today, so that might go up.
No, that's
bit.
what it is live. Because MLB.com has it live.
Okay.
No, he's had a nice little run. I mean, 12 homers in the last 30.
Yeah. What will Joe Davis's call be? Pretty close to what I did, right?
Basically, yeah.
He's in a world by
a
himself.
Home run for every state in the union.
You should do it in Japanese.
No, I don't think he's gonna do that.
I can't do that, right?
No, I didn't say
No,
you should. I said Joe Davis
Davis
should.
should.
I know you can't do it.
I mean, again, it's a little bit. It's like make sure you're seeing the forest through the trees. You can have 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases all you want. If you lose in the postseason, I mean, what Dodger fan cares?
None.
Oh, but the 50-50 guy. No, you lost.
Is he going to be the first DH to win an MVP?
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Well, he's definitely winning the MVP.
Yeah. Because
it's not going to be Francisco Lindor.
Hey, look, I mean, he's had a great season, but there's nobody in the National League that can
No, you're right.
get close to what he's done. And the glazing of the media for Otani is at an all-time high. So for sure he's going to win unanimously. Like, have you ever seen a player glaze more than Otani? And yes, I like saying glaze.
You do it. It's super annoying.
Why
It
do you
makes
like
me-
donuts so much?
It makes me very uncomfortable to hear you say
Yeah,
it. For some
no,
reason.
no DH has ever won the regular season MVP. 3 have won the World Series MVP.
Okay.
Hideki Matsui, David Ortiz, and Jorge Soler all won it as DH for World Series.
So have you ever seen a player that the media has just like
Completely like
oh my
lost
God,
their minds
this
over?
is the most amazing thing I've
No,
ever
no,
seen in my
especially
entire
when
life.
like Juan Soto has had like the exact same year. You know what I mean?
Minus the stolen bases, which are kind of a fake stat,
But exactly, like his OPS. Guess what? Juan Soto's OPS is higher.
and his batting average is higher. I'm assuming.
Yeah. No, it's not. But he's had an identical season. Guess what? Aaron Judge
Better.
has had a better season. Guess what? Bobby Witt Jr. has had a very comparable, if not better, season. Yet we're pretending like this season stands alone. It tests baseball history. There's 4 other players in baseball that have had comparable years.
Again, my looking at the stats still range true. I think. Let me double check on this right here
Okay.
because I know Judge has kind of fallen off with the home runs thanks to Chris Hodge. But
Right.
as it stands right now, all right, in all of Major League Baseball, every single team,
Mm-hmm.
you know how many categories Shohei Otani leads in baseball?
You love that.
I love it because
you
it
say none.
it proves my point.
I don't even know if it's accurate, but he leads the National League in everything.
I'm talking about baseball, John, because every media member is
Right.
saying that this is the greatest season in baseball history, not
Right.
National League history.
Right.
And
So the answer is 0?
in baseball, there is 0 categories that Otani leads in offensively that are like the big ones. Average, nah. Home runs, nah. RBIs, nah. Stolen bases, run scored, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, hits, doubles, triples, nothing. He leads no offensive category for the entire league. Yet Otani's having the greatest season in the history of baseball. It's a fantastic year. He's going to win the MVP deservedly. But this is the best season in the history of the sport, guys.
Will he be DFA'd?
I hope
My
so.
column.
Then the Padres could pick him up.
All right, more reaction on the other side, plus the wrap, plus the new Pac-12 commissioner. We're not talking about George. The new Pac-12 commissioner, Teresa Gould, is not pulling punches. You'll hear from her on the other side. We've got great giveaways, including tickets to the Miramar Air Show and Green Day as well at Petco Park next Saturday night. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, we have tickets to see Green Day. We'll give away during Trivia, Trainwreck Radio in the 4 o'clock hour. We have tickets to the Miramar Air Show we'll give away today as well. John Wilner, Bay Area News Group. He's a great college football reporter, and he's, of course, reported on realignment, USC and UCLA. He broke that story 2 years ago. He'll join us at 5:30, the latest on the Pac-12. So let's touch on that for a moment, because Teresa Gould is not George. She's the current commissioner, though, of the Pac-12. And she went on like a Pac-12 podcast today. So I guess she just like went on her own network.
And of course you found it.
Of course I did. So I have found the algorithm for YouTube knows everything about me.
Yeah.
Like seriously, if I go to YouTube right now, you're going to be amazed by this. Hold on.
It's all conference realignment, Pac-12.
Let's just open it up.
All right, ready? First one is the smoke stack headlines of the day, UTSA, Pac-12, Mountain West Conference.
Right.
And then the next one is WSU President Kirk Scholes on Pac-12 expansion.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
The next one after that is Gonzaga isn't going anywhere. The next one after that is Pac-12 expansion, kill the Mountain West Conference. Next one after that is the Pac-12 rebuild is underway. And then BYU is 3-0, John Kurtz.
Yeah.
And then 2 days from Boise State, home opener against Portland.
But the point is, the algorithm knows me.
And then Sac State reveals plans for their new Sacramento State athletic facility. You are a psychopath.
Right. Well, that's not it's the algorithm. They know what I'm watching. I need to watch that Washington State podcast. But anyway, yours is like, will multiple man be in Star Wars 3?
So mine is series premiere review of Agatha All Along.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Null is Topher Grace's Venom.
Great.
Next one is Venom vs. Carnage, the full fight scene. Next one after that is Agatha All Along, Down the Witch's Road. And after that is the 10 worst WWE heel turns of all time.
So we have a different algorithm.
And then John Middlecoff, Patriots Jets prediction.
Right, exactly. So we have
I think we have a little bit. And then Mark DeRosa and Mike Lowell break down Manny Machado.
We probably should actually play that, but anyway, the point is, is this.
What's yours, Brent? Are you looking at it right now?
Okay, what do you got?
What is your algorithm?
Let's see. Las Vegas teen expected slap on the wrist for hitting and killing cyclists.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball Super Nintendo playthrough.
Like that.
Let's see. Million Secret Castle playthrough. I have a lot of video game playthroughs. Cops called on ex-stalker, ex-boyfriend. I watch a lot of police videos where they like arrest drunks and stuff like that. Yeah.
Anyway, the point is this. The algorithm knows me, and I've been watching a lot on Pac-12 realignment, including a video I found today with the commissioner of the Pac-12 asked about expansion and what's next. She had this to say.
We're going to swing for the fences, and we're going to do everything we can to make phase 2 kind of the cherry on the ice cream, if you will, to kind of finish it out in a really positive way.
Yes. Swing for the fences, cherry on ice cream. To me, sounds like she wants to take another, the 4 they added were significant, obviously. San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State. Can you do it again? Like, we've talked about Memphis and Tulane. We've talked about Gonzaga. We've talked about UNLV. And now, what's the timeline? We'll talk to John Wilner coming up at 5:30, but she's got big aspirations for the rest of the Pac-12.
What kind of ice cream is the cherry going on top of? Is it like an ice cream sundae already?
Good question.
Or is it just plain vanilla?
I love vanilla ice cream.
I know you do. You love.
Yeah.
You're the most vanilla person. Vanilla person.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing that because they absolutely should swing for the fences and they shouldn't just settle. But what is swinging for the fences? Like, give me a school that is swinging for the fences.
I mean,
that's realistic right now.
Well, the thing is, all these schools are tied to conferences, and
exactly.
No one is going from a power league because that doesn't make sense.
Right. So,
what schools? JD Wicker was with us last week. He said we want to be a league that's the best of the rest. The best of the rest would include a school like Memphis, that is in a large city that has had a good basketball program historically. They were in a national championship when they were Memphis State, right? They have had a good football program. They beat Florida State this past weekend. Like, it's a very formidable football program. I think Memphis would be included in there. From there, you could probably argue semantics. You and I both theorized on Tulane because it's by Memphis. They've also had recent football success. From there, I don't know. Is it UNLV? Does it involve Gonzaga? Like, there's not that many options. Like, is out of left field like UConn? I don't see that. Cross country, UConn's winning basketball national championships. Are they going to rip that apart to go play football in this league? Maybe. You know what I mean? So, what else is there? University of South Florida's in Tampa. I mean, that's kind of a coast away. Are you willing to do that?
So
those are kind of your options.
Okay. Now, could she also be referring to not just the schools that they bring in, but the TV deal?
Sure.
Like the expansion of media rights going forward? Like, is that something that to me seems more of like swinging for the fences type of thing than the schools and programs they bring in? Because like you just went through it all.
Yeah, we've kind of labeled what's out there.
I mean, truthfully, yes, Memphis, Tulane, they make a bunch of sense.
Yep.
They would make the conference really good.
Yeah.
And if somehow you can get UNLV in there as well,
maybe that's the whole league.
And that's the whole league. And I think that's a pretty damn good league.
Best of the rest.
Best of the rest. That is easily best of the rest.
Yeah,
no question.
And you're right, but you bring up a really good point. Are you going to be able to get the dollars? My answer is, of course, they're going to get the dollars. Why do I say that? Why would Boise leave the Mountain West? They have a carve out where they get an extra $2 million per year. Why would you leave the Mountain West and the money if you didn't think you could get it on the other side? Like, I would think they've had some level of assurances. I don't know this for certain. I would think they have a level of assurance that they're going to get more TV money in this new league than they were getting in the Mountain West. That seems to make sense, right?
Yeah. And if you get the Memphis, Tulane, say you get Memphis, Tulane, and UNLV.
Yeah.
All right. I see people in the chat saying it's just the Mountain West dressed in Pac-12 colors.
The Mountain, no, but not really, because you've chopped off the bottom of the Mountain West.
Yeah, and the bottom of the Mountain West made the Mountain West not a conference like that people wanted it to be. It kind of just made them
kind of throwing off the curve.
Yeah,
if you want to do like a grading
weighted,
analogy.
Weighted down by the San Jose States and the Air Forces and the Wyomings of the world. Like, that was weighing them down, and now they cut the fat.
Otani 50-50. They just did a live look in. This was live. He just went to the opposite field. He has hit 2 home runs. He has stolen 2 bases. He's driven in 7.
I need to hear Joe Davis.
Yeah, we're gonna
ridiculous, stupid call.
Brent, if you can grab that, we will make fun of it on the other side. Wow. So he's at a 7 RBI game to go for 50-50. He's 5 for 5.
I mean, he's okay. He's good. Yeah. He's a good player.
5 for 5 with 2 double. What does that say? 5 for 5, 2 homers, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, 3 runs, and 2 steals now. It's a good day.
Joe Davis.
We'll hear the call from Joe Davis on the other side, and we can collectively react to that. Plus, we'll get to the wrap coming up. Plus, Chris Hodge taking Vegas at 4:30 with free picks for our listeners. Hour 2, Jon and Jim is next.
All right, this update's brought to you by the West Automotive Group. Padres, they have an off day today. Their magic number remains 5. They start their final home series of the regular season tomorrow night at Petco against the Chicago White Sox, the worst team in baseball by a mile. And looking at the Braves today, they won. They have faced the Marlins for a 3-game series this weekend. Moving over to football tonight, week 3 kicks off with the Jets and the Patriots, 5:20 kickoff there. West Automotive Group is expanding to Oceanside. They have 5 convenient locations to serve you in Escondido, Kearney Mesa, El Cajon, Miramar, UTC, and now Oceanside at South Coast Highway and Michigan Avenue. Book an appointment at West Automotive Group today.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We're reacting to Shohei Otani, who has become the first player in baseball history with 50 home runs and 50 steals in a season. We stand by what we said earlier. It's not the best season in baseball, even in 2024. Not that that's for here, nor it's not necessarily for now, but this is the type of tweet that, to me, is part of the problem with all of this. Again, Jeff Passan, I hate to be the guy to kind of go down this path, but I'm going to anyway. What kind of tweet is this from Jeff Passan? Like, seriously, what kind of tweet is this? This is what he writes. In his first year with a new team, ... In the same season, his closest friend stole $16 million from him, ... Like, that's relevant. While rehabbing from reconstructive elbow surgery, ... On a day in which he went 5 for 5 with 2 homers and 2 stolen bases, ... Shohei Otani created the 50-50 club. Meanwhile,
it's a good thing they added extra characters. You can fit all those ... dots in there.
He's got the check mark. Meanwhile, across the coast in New York, Aaron Judge has had a much better season.
And it's not even like
it's not even debatable. I mean, we just looked at the numbers; they're not even close.
Not even close.
They're no
home runs are close, but because Otani has 50 now, and Judge has 53. But
just look at like advanced
he's
analytics.
Not a one of a kind,
right? It's not one of a kind when other people are doing the same thing in the same year.
And Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge, their WAR this season has hit 10. Otani has not.
Again, I get it. It's a great year. It really is. If it happened with the Padre, we would pretend like it's the greatest thing in American history. So some of that is accurate. But also the stolen base percentage, successful stolen base percentage in baseball is like 80-something% this year.
If you really want to, you can, and you're a good runner, you can like cheat your way to 50 stolen bases just because of how the rules set it up now. They're not constantly keeping you on first. One disengagement or 2 engagements and you're off.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing. Because I someone already tweeting me and people or whatever, like, if Manny was doing this same season, you would be saying it's the greatest thing ever. That's not the point we're trying to make. The point we're trying to make has nothing to do with Shohei Otani. Otani is a great player. The 50-50 year, amazing accomplishment. This has nothing to do with Otani as a baseball player. We're not saying he sucks. We're not saying he's overrated. Well, John, we're not saying that, he shouldn't be viewed as one of the best players in the sport, because he absolutely should be. It's the media and everybody that watches baseball, that covers baseball and everything, that is crowning this achievement as the greatest thing that's ever happened in the sport of baseball, because it's not. And I'll use the word again, the glazing of Manny Machado by like the Jeff Passans of the world and everybody, like, give me a break. You're only doing this because one, he's a Dodger, and two, it's Otani. And you think Otani is the greatest thing that's happened to baseball since like Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I mean, he entered the day with the same OPS as Brent Rooker. Now, it's top 5 in baseball. It's top 5 in baseball. And right now, he's number 2 in OPS, well behind Aaron Judge. It's a great season. Like, it's not to deny that, but it also isn't right to look past the fact that the stolen base stat has completely changed. Because Major League Baseball wanted that, and they got what they wanted. So, listen, this is what Major League Baseball hangs its hat on. Shohei Otani. He is their marketing arm. He is their marketing arm. Without Shohei Otani, what is Major League Baseball today? There is no national relevancy without Shohei Otani. He's given them that level of relevancy that I don't know if it exists on the other side of him. There's no one like Otani. No one.
Dodgers were very relevant without Otani.
No one like it. Not even
Otani
close.
took him to another level.
Dude, Mookie Betts wasn't getting this kind of widespread appeal. Freddie Freeman wasn't getting this. This isn't even comparable to anything any of those MVPs have ever done. Not even comparable.
Somebody on Twitter who is a Dodger fan follows me. He says, "Dog, we're going to lose in the NLDS this year anyway. Let us enjoy this, please."
Well, there's that too. And that goes back to my point of, does it even matter if they don't win in the postseason? I would say, of course not.
Again, it's not about Otani. It's about the coverage of Otani. And the coverage of Otani for a season that isn't even in the best in baseball at this very moment is eye roll level.
But aren't we the same people that say, man, what can baseball do to break through, to be relevant, to be on front pages? Okay. This is the only possible thing they could do. If Jerks and Profar had a 50-50 season, do you think anyone would care anywhere? Other than, seriously.
It'd be one tweet and that's it. There would not be a ticker, a tracker.
Would it lead Sports Center?
It's not Jeff Passan.
Would they do a live look-in, which they just did on ESPN?
Jerks and Profar.
Yeah.
He got DFA'd last year.
And he makes $1 million.
And now same as Otani.
Now he created his own club. My point is, like, that's the point. The fact is, the only thing Major League Baseball has that allows them to resonate nationally and internationally and to somehow cut through on SportsCenter when Tennessee's playing Oklahoma on Saturday, the only thing that'll get them a live look in is Shohei Otani. That is it. Maybe Aaron Judge if he's saying the American League home run record.
Now, don't get me wrong. Him being on the Dodgers creates a level of annoyance and hate that is just a built-in my blood.
Right, as opposed to if he was on the Royals, you're saying?
Right. If he's on the Royals, I'm probably like the same way I'm about Bobby Witt Jr.
Like, this guy's great.
I love him.
Dude,
I love me some Bobby Witt Jr.
Definitely.
So there's that, and I understand that, and I acknowledge it. That doesn't take away from my point either, and I think a lot of people's points, even if they don't hate the Dodgers as much as I do, that the Otani coverage, it's a lot.
It's exhausting.
It is, and I understand your point as well. Where
isn't that what we were kind of asking?
Baseball
for?
needs to break through. I just don't want it to be Otani that's the breakthrough. Because I hate the Dodgers.
No, that's fair, and that's fine. And that's fine. Yeah. Two things can be true. It's resonating, it's impactful, it's been marketed like crazy, and we can hate it, and other people can love it. Yeah. And that's probably the point. I mean, does this even resonate as much if he's still with the Angels and they're 21 games under 500? Not the same way.
No. Like people in the postseason, there will be tweets, mostly probably from Jeff Passan. The most generational player of our era will step to the plate tonight in his first postseason game. What will he do?
He now is a 4,000 OPS. He had a home run in his first ever plate appearance in the postseason. It's the highest OPS in postseason history. You wait.
Can I hear this?
Do we have the call? Joe Davis in Miami.
Do you have? Hold on. Do you, Brent? I don't know if you can do this. How quick you can do this? Can you get my Joe Davis call and replay it with this Joe Davis call?
No, you could just
not right now.
Just let's hear the Joe Davis call, and then you can follow up with your own Joe Davis call if you want.
Okay.
Otani sends one in the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone! One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Shohei Otani starts the 50-50 club.
I was pretty damn close.
Could you want to try to do that? Hold on. Okay.
All right. Otani, high drive to left. It's back and it's out of here. Shohei Otani, 1 of 1. The greatest season in Dodgers franchise Otani! Wow!
Imagine if someone just turned this on their dial. Like, man, Jim really likes Otani. He's so excited.
Oh my
That's
God.
really pretty good. That's really pretty good. Gosh.
I mean, you got to really like belt it out there.
You
Like,
really
yeah.
you have no qualms doing that. I wouldn't do that because I'm like lose my voice.
well, you have a bye week this week. It's
I do
fine.
have a bye week.
It's
So
okay.
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's not to completely, everyone's going to say you're completely discounting it, which we are, which to be fair, we are, which isn't fully right to your point. But I'm trying to put it in perspective with another sport. It's like, again, I go back to this. If the 3-point line was moved in 3 feet and someone then set the 3-point record for most made threes in a game or a season, would we celebrate it like it's a real record? That's what they did with the bases. They made them larger and they allowed guys to run more often.
Here's my question. You know, he's hurt this year, so he's like out of the picture. But last year, Ronald Acuna had 73 stolen bases and 41 home runs. So let's say he hits 9 more home runs and gets 50 and 70 stolen bases again. I bet they don't make a big deal about it like they did today over 50-50.
Right. There's no comparing.
He starts the 50-70 club. Nah, no one will know because
That
they
goes back
won't
to
let
my
anyone
point.
know.
Acuna, there's a perfect example though, Jim. We're like, dude, if Acuna, who was talking about Acuna nationally last year?
Nobody was.
But if Otani had that 40-70 season, they would have pretended like it was the second coming of baseball.
Like today, with,
Right?
with his 50-50.
Yeah, they would have had a 40-70 tracker up there.
Like, I just want you to listen to these numbers from Ronald Acuna Jr. last year.
Okay.
And tell me if they're better than Shohei Otani. Last year, he led the league in runs, hits, stolen bases, on base percentage, and OPS. He hit 337 with a 1,012 OPS, 41 homers, 106 RBIs, 73 stolen bases, 217 hits, and 149 runs scored in 159 games played, while also playing right field every day for the Braves.
Right. You're saying Otani DH, sure. But Otani's friend stole $16 million from him, Jim. How much money did Acuna's friend steal from him?
Shohei Otani this year. Not, I guess.
No, go to MLB.com. It's changed a lot. 1 5-for-5 game with 13 total bases will change your OPS.
All right. So this year, Otani, it's a very good season. He has 175 hits.
It's pretty good.
Ronald Acuna had 217.
Wow.
Otani has 122 runs scored. Acuna had 147. Doubles this year, 34 for Otani. Last year, 35 for Acuna. 50 home runs now for Otani, 41 home runs last year for Acuna. 117 RBIs this year, 106 RBIs last year. 73 stolen bases for Acuna, 51 stolen bases for Otani. Otani hit 293 right now. Acuna's hit 337. On base percentage for Otani this year, 375. 416 for Acuna last year. Slugging percentage, Otani gets him there. 624 slug last year. Acuna had a 596 slug. And Otani right now is a 999 OPS. Acuna a 112 OPS last year.
I mean, the point is the point that, right, we are universally celebrating this to be an iconic, transcendent, generational season that's been accomplished this year by Aaron Judge and last year by Ronald Acuna.
Exactly.
But it's the greatest season in baseball history has been matched this year by Aaron Judge and last year by Ronald Acuna. People like round numbers. Who cares? That's the other thing. 50 stolen bases alone doesn't make it a one-of-one season. 50 home runs alone doesn't make it a one-of-one season.
And by the way, while Aaron Judge is having a better season overall this year than Shohei Otani is, this is not even his best season ever from Aaron Judge.
Well, same with Otani.
Offensively from Otani, yes.
He hasn't had a 1,000 OPS year?
Well, he hasn't had 50 home runs in a season.
Yeah, but that's where I think we're getting confused. Is that what matters? Like, does that make it the best season ever because he hit 50 home runs? I don't think so. There's been guys that have hit 50 home runs that have hit 189.
Judge in 2022, 62 homers, 131 RBIs, .311 batting average with a 1,111 OPS.
Which is basically what he's doing this year.
He's
Basically.
actually better this year.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a 1,144 OPS this year. He's slugging .689. He has 53 home runs and 136 RBIs while hitting .321.
The point is, Otani's had a really good season, but it's not the greatest season in the history of baseball. You could argue it's not the greatest season in baseball in 2024. All right, more reaction on the other side. Plus at 4:30, Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas with free NFL and college picks for our listeners.
One last point. At least he got it out of the way. Now it doesn't happen against the Padres.
It wasn't happening against the Padres. He would have done it this weekend either way. It's Jon and Jim. All right, guys, us again, Jon and Jim. We've been telling you for the last couple of weeks about our friends over at Jamul Casino with the NFL back. This is the spot to get to throughout the NFL season, baseball postseason as well, by the way. But every Monday in September, you've got a chance to win big with Monday Night Live $100,000 Punch-Out.
Yeah, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, earn entries all month long by playing and getting two-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $100,000 in cash.
All right, they have unbelievable food as well. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, but it goes beyond that. They have endless dining 5 nights a week. Their endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top with perfect combinations of succulent steaks and delectable seafood and a whole lot more.
Get to Jamul Casino all football season long, guys, including every Monday night for Monday Night Live's $100,000 Punch-Out. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
Make sure to catch great college and NFL games this weekend. San Diego Sports 760's got you covered. Saturday, Oklahoma. It's their SEC debut against Tennessee. I don't know where's that game anymore. You know, Jim, covering that game? The Tennessee Oklahoma game.
It's in Oklahoma.
Saturday at 4 p.m. Then Sunday, we've got the NFL doubleheader for you. Chargers, Steelers, 10 a.m. Raiders, Ravens, 5. So I'll go back and forth with the listener. But just hear me out for a second. And his premise is that, hold on, Acuna got a ton of coverage last year. I'm sure it did. Nowhere near this. Like, we have to be honest with each other. There's no comparison between. Am I wrong? Am I off base in that? 70470 started with team. You can't compare that.
They weren't cutting in on SportsCenter saying the first 40-70 season.
Not even close. And then the other thing he says is, if 50-50 is so, simple, why has no one done it before? The rules have changed drastically. How drastically? Stolen bases per game are almost twofold from 2021. Twofold stolen bases per game. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. They've changed the rules. They've made this a possibility. This is what they wanted. And now they have all the acclaim. Look what people are saying. Greatest season ever. They got what they wanted.
Yeah. And Otani to the Dodgers and how that whole thing happened with the Dodgers paying essentially nothing.
That too.
Is exactly what baseball wanted.
Right.
Like, they wanted Otani on a contender. They needed Otani on a contender. And they needed Otani in a big market, either New York or LA. And they got LA. So not only did they get that, they got an MVP season out of him in this first year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to,
and that's a credit to him
for sure.
He's done. To your point, it's not discrediting Otani. It's discrediting the sheer fact of the statistic that we're honoring.
Right.
If all fences were brought in 21 feet, why would we celebrate the home run the same way?
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing.
If someone hits 74 home runs in a season.
But every fence is brought in 17 feet. Isn't it different?
Yeah. It's like
if the season goes from 162 games to 172, don't you think it's easier to hit more home runs? When Maris hit 60, didn't he do it in 154?
I really want to look up, because I can do it. I want to see what Jeff Passan's tweet was when Acuna hit.
Yeah, you can do the advantage. I'm sure he went crazy. Jeff Passan's a poet for baseball. I mean, he absolutely loves the game.
But
I'm sure he said something over the top. But yes, please find that. Seriously, at a break. Do the advanced search on Acuna and Passan in September of 2023.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're right. I'm sure he went over the top. Did he go this over? I mean, there's no way this is the exact same fanfare or media attention to Ronald Acuna. And nobody had done 40-70 before.
So there's a good. All right. So I found it. All right. Jeff Passan last year in September. You know how many times he tweeted about Ronald Acuna?
Well, based on this amazing accomplishment a year ago, should have been 30 times.
Daily.
He's tweeted about Passan 30 times this month, or about Otani 20 times this month.
4.
Okay, he got 4. He got 4 mentions that month. And what did he say?
September 27th. This is Jeff Passan's tweet. Ronald Acuna Jr. just stole his 70th base, lifted it out of the ground, and thrust it into the air.
I remember this.
Boss move. A 40-40 season is phenomenal. A 40-70 season is inconceivable. Forget the new rules. It's ridiculous. If he wins MVP, and he's probably going to, he'll deserve it.
Forget the new rules? Okay. All right, we'll forget the new rules. They must not have played a role in. Did they not play a role in Acuna's 70? Just like they're playing a role in the 50 for Otani. That's my only point.
And then the other tweets about Ronald Acuna. In September, he had 3 tweets about Ronald Acuna, and 2 of them were like, one was a story about Acuna on September 1st, and the other one was comparing Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna for the MVP.
Exactly. Is anyone doing any comps for the MVP with Otani?
No, but
yeah, that also proves the point.
Who else in the National League would be comparable to
like
Otani,
Lindor? That's a good point.
Not even Lindor.
No one. There's no one. By the way, Skip Schumacher, there's video of him because he was asked, should we walk him? Second and third in an 11-3 game. He said, F that.
Good on.
So good on Skip. Yeah, absolutely, for allowing that moment to occur. All right, Chris Hodge taking Vegas. We can get his reaction to it. Plus, free NFL and college picks for our listeners from Chris Hodge taking Vegas. He'll join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the West Automotive Group. Padres, they have an off day today. Their magic number to clinch is 5. Braves won today, so that's why it stays at 5. They start their final home series of the regular season tomorrow at Petco Park against the Chicago White Sox. And tonight, NFL Week 3 kicks off in New York or in New Jersey as the Jets take on the Patriots. 5:20 kickoff there. With West Automotive Group is expanding to Oceanside. They have convenient locations to serve you in Escondido, Kearney Mesa, El Cajon, Miramar, UTC, and now Oceanside at South Coast Highway and Michigan Avenue. Book an appointment at westautomotivegroup.com today.
We are reacting to a ton. I need Chris Hodge's opinion on this before we get into some free picks for our listeners, including he's got a free pick for us on his text line tonight, Patriots Jets Thursday Night Football. Chris Hodge taking Vegas, who's been great to the show for years. Back with us. He's with us every Thursday at 4:30 right here on Jon and Jim. You're following this Otani thing, I take it, Chris. He's hit 3 home runs today. He stole 2 bases. He's got, I mean, this is a ridiculous day. We've been kind of discounting, well, 50-50 is easier now because the stolen bases are more prevalent in baseball. But 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Well, like, what's your reaction here to Otani's 2024 season? And thanks for hopping on, man.
My reaction. I'm a New Yorker. Aaron Judge is better.
That's what we've been saying.
Everyone's like, how could you say that? Because his numbers are better.
Judge has had a better season, and if you want to make an argument for Bobby Witt Jr., go ahead. But yeah, Judge has been better.
What Otani's doing, man. It's so great for the game. And what's he 6 for 6 today? I mean, it's crazy. And we all forget this guy could be a pitcher too. Like, I know he's injured from the elbow. He can't throw this year in terms of pitching, but I mean, Otani's been so great for the game. I mean, what a season. He'll obviously. Him and George are going to win the MVP, and NL. But, man, 50-50, first time ever. Anytime you see history, it's great. So, good for him.
All right, so Chris Hodge taking Vegas with us. So, we've got Thursday Night Football tonight. Patriots-Jets, all right? So, this is available for our listeners right now. All they have to do is text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 545454. That's WIN to 545454. But give us your thoughts on tonight as we kick off Week 3.
Yeah, I mean, the Jet fans are happy that Belichick is no longer the coach of the Patriots because he pretty much owned the Jets in the series. I mean, he really just tortured them and ruined quarterbacks along the way. But, it's a weird game because the Jets really are banged up on defense. Like, they have so many injuries right now on defense. And the Patriots can run the ball. But, look, the Jets, on paper, they are the better football team. So that's what makes this game tricky tonight. Obviously, it's their home opener. So if you text the word WIN to the number 545454, you'll get this play tonight. You will also automatically receive, you won't get it tonight, but you will get it on Saturday automatically, our college football game of the month, which you're going to hear about on our Sports Investors Daily Radio show on Saturday. So it's 2 free picks. Text the word WIN to the number 545454. You get Pats Jets tonight, and then on Saturday, you'll automatically receive the college football game of the month as well.
Yeah, the college football game of the month as well. You can get that as well. For our listeners right now, let's start with the college game this weekend that you have for our listeners. Give us the rundown on that, and listeners can, where can they can get that as well.
Well, we'll give it out right now. I mean, it's an interesting game, like Tennessee and Oklahoma. Everyone forgets this is Oklahoma's first game as a member of the SEC. So that's great. And then, really everyone has forgotten this point. Josh Heupel goes back to Oklahoma. That's where he won a national title there. So very interesting game. Tennessee's defense, this team has not allowed a touchdown in 16 quarters. Everyone forgets because their offense is so high scoring and it's so dynamic that their defense has played really, really well. And the difference between, look, I know Oklahoma is Oklahoma, and they're in the SEC, but they're not really an SEC team yet. And the difference between, when the SEC travels non-conference, and I'm talking about the upper echelon SEC, is the play of the offensive and defensive line. And right now, Tennessee has a major advantage in both of those aspects. They're able to run the ball. Oklahoma really is not. And, if you look at what Oklahoma did in the last 2 weeks, I mean, the final score against Tulane was 15 points. But they were only up by 5 in the fourth quarter of that game. That's Tulane. They damn near lost to Houston. Both of those games were played at home. Tennessee went and really pasted NC State a couple weeks ago. NC State was ranked at the time. Tennessee's the better football team. They have the better offensive and defensive line, and they have the better skill position players. So it's not going to be easy because first SEC game at night in Norman, that's not going to be easy. But I think Tennessee gets the job done by 2 touchdowns. By 14 points minimum. So I'm going to lay the 7 with Tennessee. I think it's a good place there. I think first half might be a little struggle, but as the game goes along, they pull away.
All right, lay the 7 with Tennessee in your college play here today. You also have an NFL play. It's a game you can hear on San Diego Sports 760 Sunday at 10 a.m. The Chargers heading back across the country for Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This is Sunday morning Pacific time. What are your feelings and what's your opinion on this one? Chargers and Steelers.
Very interesting matchup within this game, and that's the rookie tackle Joe Alt versus all-world player T.J. Watt, right? Like, that's the matchup right there. Can this kid block that player? And I think he's going to struggle. I really do. Now, that said, Pittsburgh is playing to their defense this year, which they should, because Justin Fields just not there. Justin Fields is not an elite quarterback. He's an okay quarterback, I guess, in the right system, but he's not an elite quarterback. But over on the Chargers, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have covered this. I mean, Herbert didn't practice a couple of days this week. He's got a bad ankle. So you're looking at the total in this game. Okay, Chargers are on back-to-back road games early in the season on the East Coast. Steelers are playing their first home game. They started with 2 games on the road. So that's a tough spot there for the Chargers right off the jump. But I do feel the Chargers are the better team. But sometimes in the NFL, situations come up and the better team doesn't win. It is a situation where I like the total because if you look at the way both coaches coach and the way both teams play, I think there's going to be a hard time scoring points in this game. I think it's going to be a running game. I think it's going to be a game played to both defenses because that's the strength of both teams right now. And you're looking at 36 points, which, I mean, if you look at what the Steelers have done this year, I mean, 18-10 and 13-6, right? I mean, there's no points there at all. And then if you look what the Chargers have done, 22-10 and 26-3. So, I mean, 2 low-scoring teams with good defenses, 36 and a half. I think it's a good under. I think it's, probably right around, 30 points total in the game. So if you're getting 36 and a half, I think that's a good bet. So we'll go with the under.
Chris, what can you tell us about your initial bankroll program?
Yeah, so I mean, we go over this on Sports Investors Daily, and I get so many emails with people, and sometimes people are unhappy because when we do the show, they want us to break down games, and I keep telling them, and I respond to all the emails. I keep telling them that's not our job, right? Our job is not to break down games. You can go on any network and watch any game get broken down. What people are not doing in this country right now is educating people on how to actually be successful at sports wagering. They're just telling people, go wager, and, leaving it up to them. And the show that we do is we're trying to educate people. Like if you play within a program, so our IBR program, Initial Bankroll program, is a 3-game program. Well, let's say you had $1,000. You put $1,000 on the first game, it wins. You put $2,000 on the second game, it wins. Okay. Now you pull your original 1,000 back, so you're whole, and you'll bet the $3,000 left on the third game. Now, we did this 16 times last year. We went 3-0 10 times, and 6 times we did not. But that means $1,000 better turned 1,000 to 6,000 10 times, and 6 times he did not. He lost his $1,000. So that's the way this system has worked. We've always done our systems within 3-game programs. No parlays, no craziness, no, bailing out if a game doesn't win. That's all stuff designed to hurt you guys. We're trying to educate you guys on how to do this the right way. And, I've done that show for 19 years, so I think I have a pretty good track record with it.
All right, Chris. So again, for our listeners here today, if they want Patriots Jets, which is going to kick off within the hour, they text WIN to 545454. WIN to 545454. And you also have your college football play of the month there, or how do they get that?
So you're going to hear about that game on Saturday. Now, this is going to be our 4th Saturday show of this season. We're 3-0 with the free picks on that show. All 3 were underdogs. All 3 won outright. This week we're doing a college football game in a month. So for tonight, and if you guys can't tell by the accent, listen to me, I'm from New York. So Jets Patriots, I think I give you a good advantage on. Okay, so text the word WIN to the number 545454. You'll get this play tonight automatically sent to you. Saturday morning, I want to say probably at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. your time, you will automatically receive a text. You don't even have to do anything. You just press a button. You get the game. You'll also get the college football game of the month on Saturday. So it's 2 free picks. And look, I sent this into my email. You guys haven't mentioned it, but I always like to talk. When I win, I mention it. When I lose, I mention it. I gave out 2 picks on the show last week. Not good. 0-2. So, but I want to make sure I've been doing this for 19 years. When we lose, we come on and tell you guys. The track record has been great. Well, last week was a losing week. We look to bounce back this week.
All right. We love it, Chris. We always appreciate you doing it. For our listeners, again, you can text WIN to 545454. You're getting tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, Pats, Jets, absolutely free. And Chris, we will do it again next Thursday night. So thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, hey, listen, the worst thing that could happen for you and I is the Yankees play the Padres in the World Series. We might have to call up the radio show.
Wow.
That day,
Well, we've thought about it.
We have.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have. No. We're not calling that off. We'll
just have you in studio when you come down here to the World Series.
For the last couple of years, I've had to do call-ins in Houston, and it's been so bad because Houston just owns the Yankees, and I got to take my medicine when I do these.
No doubt, man. Yeah. Chris, we appreciate it. We'll catch up next week, all right?
All right. Have a great night, guys.
All right, Chris Hodge taking Vegas. Wow, there's a lot going on. there's Otani, who Joe Davis has now said in his 3 home run, 10 RBI game, it is the best game in baseball history. It may be. That I really have no interest in arguing. When it happened, we were talking, I'm like, it probably is. How many 10 RBI games are there in the history of the sport? How many 6-hit games are there? And how many 6-for-6 games with 10 RBIs and 3 home runs? I mean, you're down to a very few that have ever done that. I'm not arguing the merits of this game.
No, not the game.
And honestly, I'm not even arguing the merits of the season. But it's like, why is it offensive when you say, you know what, this isn't even the best season in baseball? Or why is it offensive when you say the stolen base, it's easier to steal a base? It's just a factual statement. Why is that? Why does that hurt everyone's feelings?
Because everybody thinks that Otani should be like viewed as the greatest player in the history of the sport.
And comparing Acuna to this is laughable. This is on CNN right now. Acuna wasn't on CNN last year. I'm sorry.
You had one tweet from Jeff Passan in September last year about Acuna's 40-70 season. And already today, Jeff Passan has tweeted about Otani like 7 times.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Like, it's
an amazing game.
It's an amazing game for sure. I mean, it's one of the best games
it is
in the history of the sport.
No question.
There have been other 10 RBI games by I think 10 other players.
Is that what it is?
A-Rod had a 3-homer, 10 RBI game with the Yankees.
Okay.
But he didn't go 6 for 6.
Gotcha.
And, so that's a separate category. The thing that we continue to talk about is if Otani is doing this season and it's being dubbed by everybody as the greatest accomplishment like ever, then it better be easily far and away the best season in baseball by a player. And it's not. So that's where I get like annoyed with it. And yes, if you want to say I'm a Dodger hater, of course I
exactly.
hate the Dodgers.
Sure. Are we looking at it through the rose-colored glasses of not being rooting for the Dodgers? I mean, yeah, we're looking at it through the lens of San Diego. There's no question about that. But just because we're saying it isn't the greatest thing that's happened in the history of baseball doesn't mean we say he sucks.
Exactly.
So be clear on that.
7 players have hit 10 RBI since 1999. Nomar Garcia-Pera, A-Rod, Garrett Anderson, Anthony Rendon, Scooter Gennett, Mark Reynolds, and then Shohei today.
That was our train wreck question. I'm kidding. All right, call right now if you want a chance to win 2 free tickets to see Green Day with the Smashing Pumpkins next Saturday, September 28th at Petco Park. You need to call 877-767-4760 if you want Green Day tickets for next Saturday. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia. Call right now. Amazing prize. Green Day, Petco Park, next Saturday, 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be contestants for Trainwreck Radio, a.k.a. Trivia. That's next. All right, guys, it is Jon and Jim, and it is already an amazing time of year. Baseball playoffs days away. NFL is here. College football is here. And with Underdog, you can win 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats.
Yeah, we have some gimme picks, heavily discounted picks for Underdog for week 3 in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers tonight, John, higher than a half total yard.
I could see it. Yeah.
I think you got to take that. And then the other gimme pick of the weekend is CeeDee Lamb, higher than a half total yards receiving. So download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. Use our promo code Jon and Jim. John, tell more about it.
Okay, so you go to UnderdogFantasy.com, like Jim was saying, or you go to the mobile app and just use the promo code JONANDJIM. And Underdog's giving you the highly discounted pick, like the Aaron Rodgers pick. Plus, they'll give you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Their best offer yet. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM, to claim your new customer offer of a gimme first pick and your deposit offer.
Yeah, you must be 18 years or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
It's a nice game. It's 6 for 6, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 2 steals.
We'll take it if we can get it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we have an opportunity to hit your third homer of the game and reach 10 RBIs. You got to do it off a position player, right?
Oh, here he was off a position.
That makes it
player.
harder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Position players aren't good at pitching, so
But it's much easier to hit a 50 or 60 mile hour lollipop than it is to
I think
hit.
hitters would probably have more success hitting against position players than they would against pitchers, if I was guessing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, if you want to celebrate a guy hitting a home run off a position player in the ninth inning, go for it.
No, listen, it's an amazing day, and he's had a great season, and nobody's arguing him not winning MVP, but it's like you get pushback, man, when you start saying things that are factually accurate. It's not the best statistical season of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best statistical season if you compare it to Acuna 2023. They did change the rules around stolen bases. Everything I said is a fact.
Yep.
I'm not saying he sucks.
No, he's great.
He's very good.
But this season is being viewed as and talked about by all the media pundits and all the baseball writers as being the greatest thing that's ever happened to the sport. It's not. It's really not. And it's just because he's Otani. And yes, I hate the Dodgers.
Yeah,
more
and
than
that's
anything.
part of it. Yep.
And Otani's on the Dodgers. So by association, I hate Otani.
So let us do our thing.
But again, like you said, it's a factual statement that it is not the best season in baseball even this year.
Right. So stop with the baseball history talk,
stop.
please.
Yeah, amazing game today. Amazing game.
One of the best games you can have.
Seasons, it's a really, 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 really good season. He's going to MVP, and it's the first DH ever to do that, but it's not the greatest season in the history of the sport.
Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State assistant, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. the day that the Aztec schedule was released for men's basketball this season. John Wilner, Bay Area News Group, on the Pac-12 at 5:30. We'll continue to react to the Padres and Otani in the 5 o'clock hour as well. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Pete and we have Carl. Pete, you called in first. We have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
John.
All right, Pete and John.
Pete and John, Carl and Jim. Carl, are you there?
Yeah, I hear Jim.
Turn your radio down, buddy. All right. Brent, what is the question of the day?
All right, guys, tonight's Thursday night football thrilling matchup. The Jets take on the Patriots. Today's question, can you name the 6 quarterbacks in New York Jets history that have thrown for 10,000 yards or more? So we're looking for Jets quarterbacks that have thrown for 10,000 or more passing yards.
All right. Carl, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'm going to go Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
Wow.
On the list.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
How about Joe Namath?
Joe Namath.
All right. Good job.
Carl, back to you. Second guess. You do have a lifeline.
Let's go Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington. Good guess. Pete, back to you. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's see. Let's go. How about Ken O'Brien?
Ken O'Brien. I like that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Carl, back to you.
Are you going to drop your phone?
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm going to use the lifeline.
Carl, what is happening?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, guys.
That's not me.
Okay. All right. Everyone calm down. Carl, you want to use the lifeline, right?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm going to give you Vinny Testaverde.
That sounds great.
Vinny Testaverde. Wow.
There we go. How you doing? Pete, back to you to send to overtime, and you can use your lifeline if you want. John looks like he knows the answer to that. What are you going to do?
There's only one left.
I'll use the lifeline.
There's only one Jet quarterback that I would even know Geno Smith. 10,000 passing yards might be a little aggressive. Do you take Geno Smith?
No. Thought it was a quarterback, Richard, who
was up there. Todd Richard.
Todd
I think was his name.
Richard for the tie.
No way.
No. Was Gino the final answer?
No, he got his name wrong.
All right, it's
Carl
over.
wins.
Carl, you win. Carl, congratulations. Here's what you've won. You have won 2 free tickets to see Smashing Pumpkins in Green Day next Saturday at Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. So who was the 6th? What was the right name?
It was Richard Todd, not Todd Richard.
Not Todd Richard. All right, coming up next, Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball. Their schedule's out for the upcoming season. We'll touch on this upcoming year on the Mesa at 5:30. John Wilner, Bay Area News Group. Much more to react to involving the Padres and the Dodgers as well today. Hour 3 of Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the West Automotive Group. Padres, they have an off day today. Their magic number remains at 5 because the Braves today beat up on the Cincinnati Reds. They start a 3-game series tomorrow with the Chicago White Sox, their final home series of the year. Other scores that matter to the Padres today, Mets and Phillies in New York, bottom third. Mets have just taken a 4-2 lead over Philadelphia. And the D-backs are in Milwaukee against the Brewers. It is scoreless in the top of the 4th inning there. West Automotive Group is expanding to Oceanside. They have 5 convenient locations to serve you in Escondido, Kearney Mesa, El Cajon, Miramar, UTC, and now Oceanside at South Coast Highway and Michigan Avenue. Book an appointment at westautomotivegroup.com today.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We're with you for the next hour. We do have Miramar Air Show tickets to give away. We do have John Wilner, Bay Area News Group, joining us in 30 minutes. It's great right now to connect with Dave Velasquez, longtime Aztec men's basketball assistant. We get news today that San Diego State's non-conference schedule has been announced and completed. Hard to believe, but basketball is going to be here before we know it. Wednesday, November 6th, San Diego State will host UC San Diego, and then a really challenging non-conference schedule overall. But, Coach, always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on. Now that this schedule is out, what's your reaction to it? Again, the tournament in Vegas, Gonzaga. I mean, how is this all put together, and what's it going to mean for your team as you approach conference play?
Well, first off, thank you guys for having me as always.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Like you said, that basketball season's just right around the corner. But we're excited. You know, we always challenge ourselves with one of the hardest non-conference schedules in the country. This year is going to be no different. The biggest difference this year is how fast and how good we have to be early when things, right out of the gate, starting with all the way from UC San Diego. And then from there, we play 4 what you would consider quad 1 NCAA tournament type games with Gonzaga, Texas A&M, Creighton, and Oregon. And so incredibly difficult schedule for us. And that's why our players come to San Diego State, is to be challenged and to get ready for a great Mountain West Conference, another great year in the Mountain West Conference, and to try to win that league and put us in the best position possible for the highest seed in March.
What was your reaction when you found out that San Diego State was moving to the Pac-12?
Just pure joy, really. I think it's the right thing to do. We've always had the ultimate trust in President De La Torre and John David Wicker. They've done nothing but put San Diego State in the best position to be successful during this crazy time in college athletics, from conference realignment to NIL. And you put the ultimate trust in them because they've earned that from all of us. And we're very, very excited to join the Pac-12. And we know that this is just the beginning. This is just step 1 in many steps to what the Pac-12 will be. And I think this puts us in the best position to be successful moving forward.
Yeah, and it's not done yet. There's still going to be more schools added, and you could have however many schools be added here, and Gonzaga's out there, whatever. But as far as the impact, all around your program for moving to the Pac-12, what exactly is that?
That's hard to say right now because, like you said, it's so fluid.
Yeah.
We're hoping that this again puts us in the best position for us to move forward. And there's so many things that are still up in the air. And most of it is regarding NIL. And most of it's going to now get to the revenue sharing. And all San Diego State is trying to do is put us in the best position to continue the success that we've had. And for men's basketball, that is to be a top 25 program year in and year out. So what positions can we put ourselves to be in that position? And it's as simple as that. And I feel like this was the right move for our university. Not just for men's basketball, for all sports. I think we all feel that way. And like I said, the trust in our leaders is at the utmost high, and we're excited to get going.
We're with Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. Again, the Aztecs get underway the first week of November in the 2024-25 regular season. Their home schedule includes Gonzaga. They'll play in this NIL event, this Players Era Festival in Las Vegas as well. To touch on that for a moment, Coach, the impact of this Las Vegas event on NIL, on the Mesa Foundation, can you put it into words? Like, what does that mean for the collective, which in turn means what for your program when you're trying to retain players and go out and recruit players?
you know, as much as whether we, you know, we want to continue to talk about this elephant in the room with NIL, it's the most important thing right now for any college program in any sport is to have a great NIL program. We have one of the best in the country with the Mesa Foundation, how they do it, how it's run. We have unbelievable support from again, the leaders in the Mesa Foundation, and we are continuing to grow that. And, you know, this is just going to be part of it. The players era is going to be part of it. We always challenge ourselves with the non-conference schedule, like I mentioned before, but part of that is to hopefully put ourselves in a better position than we were last season and the year before in terms of our NIL and in terms of where the Mesa Foundation is. And every day we work on continuing to grow that, and we will always continue to grow that. And, you know, always even going to today, completely kind of a little bit off topic, but we had a beach workout, and I can't wait for the Mesa Foundation to put out the video of our guys working out on the beach in a 70-degree plus day with not a cloud in the sky down in Mission Beach. You know, I think it's we have some things on there that are going to be great for the members of the Mesa Foundation to be able to watch and get a behind the scenes look at. And again, it is the biggest thing in college athletics right now. To be successful is you have to have great NIL, and that's just the way it is as of today. And you know, we got to have all the other things that we've had for a long time. We've got to continue to support all programs and have all the resources to be successful. But NIL is at the top of the list right now.
I'm assuming one last thing about the Pac-12. I'm assuming that you didn't have any notice about this beforehand. So, like, where were you when you found this news out, and how quickly did the text chain start blowing up? Of like, guys, what is happening right now?
That's funny. We actually, I heard when I was on a plane. Was on a plane. You know, you can only get text and stuff now.
Right.
Didn't have the full internet, so
Right.
I got a text about Pac-12. Then I got online and I read it, and then by the time I landed, I was sitting next to Coach Dutcher. We were coming back from a recruiting trip last week, and so we spent the next couple hours making phone calls to all the recruits, to some of our current players' families, and you know, to some of our biggest donors and people that mean the most to us and within our program that have done the most for us, in kind of giving them the news and talking about it beforehand, so they didn't have to be the last to know, and try to make them be the first to know. And kind of, again, like I said, though, it's so fluid. You know, all you're trying to do is deliver great news. But when they ask a lot of questions, right, even as of today, we don't have a lot of answers to a lot of questions, because again, it's moving in the right direction, but it's far from done.
Dave Velasquez with us right now. Again, San Diego State, longtime men's basketball assistant. The Aztecs will start this upcoming season November 6th against UCSD. Just to touch on that real quick, the rest of the non-conference schedule, you get UC San Diego at home. You'll play the University of San Diego. I know over the years there's been a lot of games against USD. There have been a lot of games against UCSD. Is that something you prefer to have on the schedule, playing those, you know, city games, whether it's home, road, or anywhere else? Is that good to play those games?
Well, it's exciting, and you know what you don't want to do is play the same type of opponent, or an opponent that you have to fly 4 hours in. I mean, I feel like it's great for the city. I feel like the dates worked out really well this year for the programs and for both programs, and I feel like this is going to challenge us and, like I say, prepare us for the Mountain West. And they're really good teams, coached by really good coaches, and they're going to have really good players. And so every game that we play is challenging. We've been through this so many times before. From how many times that we had to hit game winners versus UC Irvine, you know, and you can never take any game for granted. Last year at UC San Diego, it was the Jaden Ledee putback that helped us win that game. I mean, like I told our players the other day, UCSD last year was better than us for 39 minutes and 59 seconds. We just were better than them at the most important second.
Right.
So you know, again, like I said, that game though helped us move forward and get ready for the league and helping us go on a run for the Sweet 16. And that's all you're trying to do. You know, Our goal every year is to win the Mountain West Championship, regular season conference title, and then make as deep as a run as we can in March. And the only way to do that is to put yourself in a position to play in March. And that starts all the way down back in November.
And soon it will be to win the Pac-12 title every single year. Right. Coming up here in 2026. I know Dutch was quoted in Mark's piece about Nick Boyd and his injury. How is he progressing since the injury?
He's doing well. He's right on track. He's eager to get out there, get back with our guys. You know, I think it's at this point for him, he's a veteran. He's a guy that we should probably be more cautious than get too antsy and get him on the court too early in terms of going full speed. But he's doing great in his rehab. He's been unbelievable off the floor and in terms of leading and helping and trying to coach, and also at the same time be a sponge and learn as much as he can as he sits out. I think it's really hard to do, to stay engaged every day. And I haven't seen a guy like that stay engaged, stay involved in the practice, stay involved in film, come up to the office, watch film on his own, even though he's not out there, and try to learn. So when he steps on that floor, he didn't miss any steps, even though obviously he's going to be a little bit of a step behind because he's not actually out there every day for these past few weeks or so. So, but Nick's doing great, and I can't wait. I know his teammates can't wait to get him out on the floor as soon as we can.
The final one from me is just about, I don't even know the right way to phrase it, so I'm curious to get your perspective on it. I look back at the last 2 years, and the teams, the returnees had accomplished so much. It's almost like, to some extent, I think Aztec fans, and maybe internally as well with the players, you're almost waiting for the most important, quote unquote, time of the year. You're waiting for the conference tournament. You're waiting for the NCAA tournament to make all that noise. And you're being hunted, so to speak, by opponents within your conference. This team doesn't have as much in terms of what it's returning when it comes to their accomplishments at San Diego State. Do you sense what I'm kind of asking? Like, is this a hungry unit because they have to prove for themselves what they're capable of doing on the floor at San Diego State?
There's no question,
Okay.
and part of that is, just to be honest with you, they better be, because we there's no better feeling for everybody else in our league than to say they beat San Diego State.
Right.
You don't think Gonzaga remembers when we went up there and beat them at their place last year? They're going to come in here and they're ready to go and to beat us in our own building, and we're going to have to be ready to go for that game. I mean, UCSD, like we just mentioned, is thinking, they should have won last year. Now let's get it back this year at their place. So again, we have the biggest bullseye on our chest every single day, and that also goes to the move to the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is a national brand. San Diego State men's basketball is a national brand, and to be aligned with that is a part of our move. But at the same time, every single day that we go out, it doesn't matter what league we're in or who we're playing. Our bullseye is as big as anybody else's in the country.
Yeah, no, it's well said. It's funny. I'm just thinking, and we'll let you go, Dave. It's like I'm seeing all these people, what they're saying about the Pac-12, and like, man, if that league could get Gonzaga, like, imagine what that would mean for basketball. And I always think to myself, well, San Diego State, like, what about? It's amazing how sometimes San Diego State, even in the West, people have slept on this program that for 25 years has won at as high of a level as basically anyone has won in the last quarter century. So that's a credit to you and Dutch and Coach Fisher and everyone affiliated with the program over the last 2+ decades. We appreciate it, Dave. We'll see you obviously soon with basketball coming up in a few weeks. And thanks for hopping on as always.
Appreciate you guys, and go Aztecs.
All right, great stuff. Dave Velasquez, longtime assistant on the Mesa.
He was on a recruiting trip with Dutch.
Yeah, that's a good time to be on a recruiting trip.
On the
Getting
plane,
news.
and you're like, what?
Yeah, you know that feeling when like everything has changed because you've been away from your phone? You do, because you've missed every Padres story in the history of the franchise because you're always sleeping.
Yeah, I missed the Manny extension. I missed the Darvish extension. I missed.
Were you sleeping when the Chargers moved?
No, I was actually here in the
I
studio.
know, but you know what I mean? But we all know that feeling, like, oh my gosh. You texted me. Or like one time, I think when Dylan Cease was traded, you texted me at one point. Oh, Luis Ariz is traded. I was away from my phone for like an hour and that happened.
Yeah, I called you.
Yeah.
I go, bro.
Yeah.
And you didn't pick up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I know.
And usually if I'm going on a long flight, I might buy Wi-Fi. But if the flight has
well,
if the flight also just has like movies, then I don't want to worry about it.
Right.
But also if the flight's an hour, I don't even bother. I just turn my phone on airplane mode.
Yep.
The feeling of doing that and then landing and turning your phone off of airplane mode, and then you get like 50 text messages.
That's a weird feeling.
You're like,
oh,
what's happening right now? Now that didn't happen to them, a little bit to them because you couldn't get much Wi-Fi on a plane. But
right
at the same time, if they had their phones off and you land and it's like, yeah, it's like, what just happened?
100%. All right, John Wilner, Bay Area News Group, will join us at 5:30 with more on what's next for the Pac-12. On the other side, Padres getting ready for the White Sox. A historic season or not for Shohei Otani. That's next. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer, and lower mortgage rates are finally here thanks to the Fed and Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or within the last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi. So get started. Use this opportunity to get cash out and wipe out your credit cards. You can do a cash out refi and get $50K, $75K, $100K or more out of your home. Use that to pay off all your high interest debt and end up with just one low monthly payment. If you act now, you can skip not just your next house payment, your next two. Purchase loans available as well. So call now, get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. VA Streamline loans are also available with Loan Pronto. Call 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. John and Jim back with you. John Wilner, Bay Area News Group. 10 minutes. We do have tickets to give away for Miramar Air Show. And we're going to do that coming up in about 5 minutes. Two grandstand seats for the Miramar Air Show coming up September 27th through the 29th. We have two tickets for the 29th. So there's been a lot to react to on what a lot of people are dubbing a historic day in Major League Baseball history. A historic day. Is that going too far, Jim? Is this a historic day in the history of Major League Baseball with Shohei Otani eclipsing 50-50 in the manner in which he did it, which was with 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 10 RBIs, and everything else he did, 17 total bases.
Yeah, singular day as far as like a game goes. It's one of the best games
ever.
One of the best. 6 for 6. 10 RBIs, 3 home runs, even though you hit your final home run off of a position player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are the stats today. Great. But I will stand by unless Otani goes 60-60. Even then, I'm like, yeah, 60 is a lot.
He's not going to go 60.
You're not going 60-60. But if you're not going to lead the league in any offensive category, then how can you tell me it's the greatest single season in baseball history?
Yeah, it's hard because people think when we say that, we're saying that he's had like some bad year. Nobody's saying that. He's had a great year, and he's deservedly going to win MVP. And today stands kind of alone because guys don't have 10 RBI games going 6 for 6. I mean, no matter who does it, where and when, that kind of the fact that he did it the day that he went over 50-50 is going to amplify the thing even more. Mm-hmm. And that's a credit to him. And it's a darn good year and it's a darn good day, but I just wouldn't refer to it as like, I don't know if it's a defining season in the history of the sport.
Like, you know, when you go to Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
And when you go to Baseball Reference, the one thing that I look at to determine like how good your season was compared to the rest of baseball is you look at the numbers, and when you lead a category in baseball, it's like bold
or italicized.
Yes. It's like a dark, it's like bold, italicized. And you're like, whoa, that player led the league in all those categories.
In everything. Like Barry Bonds in the middle of his career.
Like Judge this year leads the league in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I'll take that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major categories in baseball offensively. Like the ones that you see, not the advanced analytics stuff, right? Otani, I go to his page, and right now, let me just pull this up.
Oh, this is before his 10 RBI day.
It's before his 10 RBI day. Now
it changes things.
Oh, this is league. Okay, so wait.
Yeah, he's leading everything in the National League, isn't he?
National League, yeah. But I'm talking about all of baseball. So, okay, Otani in the National League, in the National League this year, best 2024 season in the National League, MVP in the National League book.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
does it stand out from Acuna? I think is a fair question. I don't think it stands out from Acuna. I think it's very comparable.
If you did the like player A, player B silhouettes, and then you put their seasons side by side, and you told me to pick one.
Yeah, people would pick. Maybe they pick both, but they go back and forth on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can be like, well, you know, you had 10 less stolen bases here and 10 more home runs here, and this guy had, you know, a way better batting average and a better OPS, more hits, more runs scored. This guy didn't. This guy. I mean, you could do that if you want, but that's the whole point, is because people would do that. And I don't think, if you didn't know this was Otani season and this was Acuna's season, just you had no clues who was who.
Some people would take the Acuna season over the Otani season.
And that's the point we're making here.
That it's not definitively the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Stop. You just had a player last year offensively in the National League put together a very comparable season to Otani's this year. The only thing that Otani has really over Acuna last year is the home runs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like 15 to 20. Well,
it could end up being about 15
to 20 more.
But then again, Acuna could have 15 or 20 more stolen bases at the end of the year.
He could have gone 40-90.
True. Yeah, true. So, yeah, I mean, again, I stick by this. You can put this thing on a pedestal all you want, and maybe a lot of it is deservedly so. The only possible thing that matters for Shohei Otani and the Dodgers is what they do in the postseason. There is nothing else that really, truly counts. Mm-hmm. We can pretend like this counts, and we can pretend like this is remarkable and historic, and that's fine. I think some of it is, but I'll tell you what, if the Dodgers bow out early, that's the talking point. If they win the World Series, that's the talking point. That's what's going to matter. That's how he'll be defined. His first plate appearance in the postseason is his first plate appearance in the postseason in his career. And that's what he's going to be remembered more for, in my opinion, whether he has team success with the Dodgers or not.
Something infinitely more important than Shohei hitting home runs off of position players today is the scoreboard update in baseball. Games that matter to the Padres. Who cares about Otani's day? Mets now lead the Phillies, John, 7-3 bottom 4.
That's not good.
Lindor, I think, just hit a home run. Brandon Nimmo hit a 2-run homer. Not great. And we're scoreless still in Milwaukee between the D-backs and the Brewers, top 5.
All right. John Wilner is going to join us in 4 minutes from the Bay Area News Group. What's next for the Pac-12? How does it impact San Diego State? But call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the Miramar Air Show. Caller 5, you're going. 877-767-4760. September 27th to the 29th. Admission and parking free. Experience the Wall of Fire, the F-22 Raptor demo team, and the Blue Angels, plus static displays featuring military and civilian aircraft. Preferred seating and show details at MiramarAirShow.com. Caller 5, you're going. 2 free tickets for the 29th. 877-767-4760. Call now. John Wilner next.
This update's brought to you by the West Automotive Group. Padres, they have an off day today. They start their final home series of the regular season tomorrow against the Chicago White Sox as they'll come to town. 6:40 first pitch time there. Joe Musgrove on the mound against Garrett Crochet for the White Sox, John. Other scores around baseball that matter to the Padres. Their magic number stays at 5 today because the Braves beat the Reds 15-3. Moving over to other games that matter to the Padres. D-backs have just taken a 1-0 lead over the Brewers 5, and the Mets currently lead the Phillies 8-3, bottom 4 in New York. West Automotive Group is expanding to Oceanside. They have 5 convenient locations to serve you in Escondido, Kearney Mesa, El Cajon, Miramar, UTC, and now Oceanside at South Coast Highway and Michigan Avenue. Book an appointment at West Automotive Group today.
Realignment news doesn't stop, and John Wilner knows that better than most. Wilner Hotline, right here in San Diego in the Union Tribune, Bay Area News Group as well. John Wilner back with us on San Diego Sports 760 and Jon and Jim. So first of all, we appreciate you taking time. Obviously, it's been an interesting period here in San Diego with San Diego State, as we found out last week about the expansion of the Pac-12 from 2 to 6. What's the timeline here in order to, quote unquote, finish off this conference for 2026, John? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, sure thing. I would probably say 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, sometimes these things take longer than expected, but I do believe they want to get this second phase of their expansion wrapped up pretty quick because they need to get a TV deal. The Pac-12, the 2 schools have a 1-year deal with the CW for this season, and then probably are going to renew that for 2025. Starting in the fall of 2026, they need a TV deal with the reconstituted conference. So the sooner they know exactly who's in it, the better chance they've got to get a decent deal.
Is Gonzaga still a possibility? I know Oregon State's AD talked about they wanted only schools with football and basketball. But what about Gonzaga? I know it's been thrown out there recently.
My understanding is that Gonzaga is definitely under consideration. Now, I do think they want to get the football piece figured out first, right? See what, their target schools that play football, but they have not ruled out adding non-football schools. So Gonzaga, maybe St. Mary's, that's just speculation on my part. Maybe Grand Canyon could be other options for them if they want to get multiple non-football schools in there.
John Wilner with us right now, San Diego Sports 760, Jon and Jim. Does the number 8 for football playing schools make sense to you, John, or is that too light? Because when you do the math on it, that's only 7 conference games, which is essentially unheard of right now in FBS and requires 5 non-conference games. So are you thinking beyond 8, or what type of number are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they have to get to 8 to meet the NCAA requirement. That's the first thing. But as an ideal scheduling number for football, yeah, they probably need 9. Then you can play 8 conference games. The thing is, non-conference games can be expensive, right? The FCS schools drive a hard bargain. And even if you are splitting the TV money 9 ways instead of 8, in some respects, it helps save money because otherwise you've got to try to find that 5th non-conference game, and that could be, $1 million potentially. So that's one piece of it. I doubt that they would go with 8 and then have like rivals play a home and home series. So in other words,
right.
San Diego State UNLV played home and home to create, 8 conference games. I doubt they do that. I think they want to try to get to 9.
So when you look at the available options, because it's a tricky formula, you know it better than I do. I mean, there's already schools in power leagues. There's all these grant of rights. It's very challenging to make movement. It costs a lot of money. There's only so many viable options here. I think 2 of them that have been widely discussed. I know you've discussed it. The idea of Memphis and Tulane. This isn't your father's AAC, so to speak. There's been a lot of movement outside the American Athletic Conference over the last 10 years. Does it make sense to you? What would be a reason why Memphis and Tulane wouldn't have interest in the Pac-12 if the Pac-12 had that interest in them?
Well, the main reason is money.
Right.
That's the big question. Memphis and the American schools get roughly $7 million a year in TV money. So the Pac-12's got to come to them with an offer that is substantially more because they got to make up for the travel costs that those schools are going to have, right? So they're not going to, if the Pac-12 comes to them with an $8 million or $9 million offer, I don't think they're going to leave the American. If the Pac-12 comes to them with 10, 11, 12 million a year, then it's a different deal. But the problem for the Pac-12 is how do you get a hard and fast TV dollar number without knowing who's in the conference? And how do you get the conference filled without knowing what your TV money is that you can offer? So it's a chicken and egg thing that they've got to try to figure out.
John Wilner with us right now, John and Jim. It's interesting you say that. I'm thinking about a school like Boise that we're familiar with here in San Diego from the Mountain West. Boise, as you know, John, had that carve out where they were making something like $2 million more than even a San Diego State based on their previous football successes when they entered the Mountain West, whenever it was 10 or 15 years ago. Yet Boise has already committed to this newly reconstituted league. So whatever Teresa Gould is selling out there, the commissioner of the Pac-12, must be fairly convincing, right? Because Boise, again, already had that advantage in television revenue. They wouldn't jump if there wasn't more money in it for them, right?
Well, for sure, they would, and there is going to be more money than what Boise's getting in the Mountain West.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's any if there's any question. There's also the competitive piece. If you reconstitute the Pac-12 and you get some American schools, then you basically need to have the American. And remember, the way the playoff is set up, the top team in the group of 5 gets in. Well, if the Pac-12 does it right, it would be the dominant non-Power 4 conference, which means its champion would, on a pretty regular basis, get in the playoff, and that's very appealing. The other piece to this is the unequal revenue share. Either you set aside a certain amount of your TV money that's for performance based, so you make the playoffs, you make the NCAA tournament, you get more, or you just tell certain schools you're getting more than others, right? The ACC is going through that right now with Clemson and Florida State, and I am sure that Memphis and Tulane and South Florida and the American are trying to bargain for more revenue than average in that conference.
John, today, Teresa Gould said, quote, they're trying to swing for the fences and the selected teams will be the cherry on the ice cream to finish it out. What do you think she means by swinging for the fences here? I know Memphis and Tulane, like, it would be very good for the conference. Is that considered swinging for the fences?
I think it is. Maybe Texas, San Antonio as well, South Florida potentially. They are looking east, partly because it certainly undermines the American Conference competitively, but also you've got pretty good markets. San Antonio, Tampa, Memphis, New Orleans. Not only are they good markets, but they're also important recruiting ground. So that's part of it. And if you've got schools in the Central Time Zone, it increases your windows for kickoffs. And that gives your media partners much more flexibility on when they can schedule games. And that has value to TV. I mean, they're not going to get schools that are in the Power 4 to come back, but they certainly are going to take a swing for the best schools in the American. There's no doubt. One that I should mention, Air Force is an interesting piece because Air Force does well on TV. The Air Force has got some value on TV, and it's a good school. The question is whether Air Force is going to go into the American, because that's where Army and Navy are, and it certainly would make a lot of sense for the three of them to be together.
That's an interesting point. We're with John Wilner right now on Jon and Jim San Diego Sports 760. It feels like the Pac-12 under Teresa Gould have learned some of the lessons of the failures of what happened last August and well beyond last August, but it all kind of culminated last August. When you think about what they may be thinking from a television perspective, obviously for these member institutions, like you said, money matters. But how creative are they willing to get? Are they going to go back to that Apple TV well, so to speak? Do they want traditional TV players? How do you think she might be hoping to put this whole thing together?
Well, my guess is going to be that whatever TV deal they signs that starts in the fall of 2026 is a combination of linear and streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think the CW is certainly a player to watch in this whole thing. They've got the deal with Oregon State and Washington State this year. They also have a deal with the ACC for a certain number of football and basketball games. They are getting more and more into live sports. I think they've got NASCAR Xfinity and Live Golf too. Turner may be interested in getting into college football because they lost the NBA. So what they're hoping is that there's a fair amount of bidders. Fox, which has the Mountain West, and CBS, they've got the Mountain West until the summer of 2026. So starting at that point, they may want a piece of the reconstituted Pac-12. They're hoping that some combination of those networks for streaming and linear drive up the price. Essentially, you want the more demand, the better your price point.
And can I give you another one, John? And you know it better than I do, but ESPN was kind of, I mean, when you think about this, I guess the savviness of the SC UCLA move from a Fox perspective, that kind of locked ESPN out of Southern California. Nobody's saying San Diego State is USC or UCLA. So that's not the point I'm trying to make. But doesn't ESPN have an interest in late kick times? They have some of them with Cal and Stanford. Maybe BYU's in there. I'm not even sure the particulars, but they don't have as many West Coast possibilities as they had, let's say, 3 to 5 years ago. Could ESPN dip their toes back in with West Coast inventory?
Oh, I think absolutely ESPN, and I didn't not mention them because they're not a player.
Right.
I just, was focused on some of those others, but no, ESPN could absolutely get involved right now. They've got Cal and Stanford, but if those two schools are on the road,
right,
they got some problems with kickoff because they've got the four corner schools are all going to be Mountain Time. 2 of them are Mountain Time all the time, and 2 of them are going to be Mountain Time in November. And like BYU is the late game this week. It's a 8:15, 8:30 kickoff in Provo.
Right. Exactly. All right. It's gonna be interesting. Last thing, John, before you go, because you've been reporting on it, the UNLV Nevada Reno dynamic. Do you think that ultimately holds up UNLV from potentially joining this new Pac-12, or at the end of the day, do you envision potentially UNLV and Nevada being separated? They spent a lot of their histories away from each other in athletic competitions. Do you think that happens again?
That's right. Yeah, they have, and I think it will happen. And I spoke to one of the members of the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada system, and she was pretty clear that those 2 schools are not tethered together, and that if the Pac-12 came at UNLV with the right deal financially, that she thought the board would approve UNLV's move. And I tend to think that UNLV is going to end up in the Pac-12. I think there were a bunch of reasons that they weren't in the first wave, but I think it's better than 50-50 chance that they are in the second wave and that Reno is not.
Great reporting, great insight. John, we appreciate you taking time in San Diego, where, again, you can be read in the San Diego Union Tribune. Thank you for joining us, and we'll do it again, all right? Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot.
All right, great stuff. John Wilner, Bay Area News Group.
A lot of nuggets there.
A lot of nuggets. Jim, you can go home. We'll react to that. No, Jim's back page is coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 presents our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival live tomorrow and Saturday. T-Mobile in Vegas. Some of the biggest artists in the world together on one stage. Paramore, Black Rose, Dua Lipa, and more. Experience the show live all weekend long. Stream it only on Hulu and listen on iHeartRadio starting at 7:30. We always remind you too, Jim, to hit us up on the talkback mic. Okay, open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. I listen to those. We're listening to those.
Tap
So
it.
keep tapping.
Tap it in.
We are listening.
Taparoo.
I thought that was really good insight from John Wilner, and I'm 100% serious.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't just for like me.
It was for you.
It was for me. But if you're into like the Pac-12 or San Diego State or realignment, he said UNLV is a better than 50-50 chance to join. He said, don't rule out Gonzaga. He told us the pros and cons of what they're selling to Memphis and Tulane.
He dropped to St. Mary's on us.
He dropped to St. Mary's. I think he dropped to Grand Canyon.
He did.
He dropped to Grand Canyon on us.
I mean, he said football-wise, you're talking like Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, UNLV.
USA. He dropped South Florida on us.
Dropped South Florida. And then he's like, yeah, basketball, Gonzaga, St. Mary's. Gonzaga's definitely in play still. Like, that's not out of the question. And St. Mary's. And I'm like, whoa.
He was dropping some nuggets.
If you watch this on YouTube, you see me like,
yeah, you were like amazed.
Like, what?
You were amazed.
Are you going to listen back to the interview?
Oh my gosh, 3 to 6 times. Well, I'm going to post it on, I'll post it later on tonight.
You're going to post it where?
On the internet.
Where on the internet? No, where on the internet?
YouTube.
What YouTube channel?
Exactly.
What YouTube channel? Exactly. John takes our interviews.
No, that's not what happened.
Yes, it is. No. You take our interviews that we do about college realignment and you post them on your Aztec wrap-up channel.
But
and
that's the point
up.
of the channel.
They're from Jon Jim.
But basically, they're my interviews. Let's get to it.
What? I saw this today and I was like, it's kind of weird,
Okay.
but okay. Pizza Hut is launching a new job search resumes. RESZAMES.
Okay.
Where
What does that
you
entail?
can put your resume
On a pizza?
on the back of a pizza box.
On the back of a pizza box. But then what do you do with it?
Pizza Hut has launched a new initiative allowing job seekers to place their resumes on pizza boxes, aptly named the Resume. I don't know.
Right.
This effort turns an ordinary pizza delivery into a potential job application where resumes are printed on the pizza box itself and delivered alongside cheese pizza to New York City offices.
It's like the last thing I'd be thinking about on a pizza box.
Now, if you want to do this,
then depending on what kind of pizza you get, you ever looked at the bottom of the
Yeah, it's
pizza
all
box?
greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
now it might be on. Actually, you know what? I think it might be on the top of the pizza box. Just kidding.
That would make
it
more
is. It's on the
sense.
top.
Yeah, it is on the
From this
top.
photo.
It is
yeah.
on the top. Yeah. So here's how to apply, or here's how
Yeah.
it works. Visit the RESZAMES website.
Okay.
Enter zip code. Then build your resume. Customers whose employers' offices fall into the eligible delivery zones within New York City will be directed to input their resume via the online submission form. And then you'll hear from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut will then review your resume submissions and choose a select number of lucky winners whose resumes will be hand-delivered via custom Pizza Hut resumes pizza boxes to their desired employers.
Are they going to deliver it with an $8 delivery charge?
I don't know.
It is Pizza Hut.
I don't know about that. But the Pizza Hut resume submission forms are now open for a limited time through September 22nd, 2024. So you better get on it. Except you gotta live in New York, I guess. So whatever.
Right. So get on that too.
Yeah,
move to New
move.
York and put your resume on the top of a pizza
Just
box.
like move and
Right.
go to New York, and then there you go. This is fast. I haven't had a solar system story in a long time, or like outer
Is that thing
space,
still around?
Yeah, you haven't.
like
You're
an
right.
outer space story.
I guess
in a
there's been
while.
no comets or anything or no asteroids.
Well, we're still here. So
Yeah.
Listen to this headline. Ready?
Okay.
Earth is temporarily getting a second moon.
That's a click. That is a click-worthy headline.
Insta-click, dude.
Yeah.
It is. I am stopping everything I'm doing. Click. What?
What's the second moon?
Starting next week, the moon, Earth's closest celestial body, will be joined by a new neighbor, a second moon, from September 29th until November 25th.
Limited time offer.
It's gonna be like we live on Tatooine.
Exactly.
Act now and get a second moon.
Astronomers calculate that.
But wait, there's more.
Right.
Astronomers calculate that 2024 PT5, which is what scientists thinks is an asteroid, but have dubbed a quote mini moon, will be looping around Earth. It will eventually break free of the planet's gravitational orbit, though. Sadly, at just about 10 meters, the mini moon will be extremely hard to see from Earth, but its presence will be there nonetheless for almost 2 months. The asteroid, which was discovered on August 7th, originated from the Arjuna asteroid belt, where it will likely return once it leaves Earth's orbit.
Are they really tracking all of the stuff?
Yes.
They track it all.
If you don't, you're that's a problem.
But what's the point of tracking it? Because even if you track it and it's heading right for you, what do?
Well, you call up Bruce
Ghostbusters?
Willis and you say, "Hey, can you get Ben Affleck on board to go save the planet?"
That's a great point.
Yeah. So they have
they're tracking
things built in place.
Okay.
Right? Things built, and then they say, "Hey, Michael Bay, do you have any suggestions for us how to stop this asteroid from hitting Earth?"
Is Michael Bay the head of the Secretary of Planetary?
He might be, actually.
All of Michael Bay's ideas involve explosions.
Okay.
So how can you create a big enough explosion to divert this Earth-killing asteroid away from us or destroy it?
Okay.
Yeah. So
thanks for the heads up.
So there you go. Mini moon.
Mini moon.
Mini moon.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
I feel like I had something.
There's no new crumble cookies out there.
No?
Sorry. No.
Jeez.
Middle of the week. It's hard to do that.
Right,
It's either at the end of the week or the beginning of the week. Right?
What's your update for me on Thursday Night Football? Jets, Pats?
Oh, that's a great question, John. I don't care.
7. You were watching it on your phone. It is. Listen to this. Listen to. We saw a historic baseball game today. Is this a historic football game? Aaron Rodgers is 9 of 10 with a touchdown. Wow. Whoa. That's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. That's a great question. What will lead Sports Center? The actual true Sports Center, like 11 o'clock Eastern.
Otani. This was a Monday Night Football game.
Yes. If you missed anything today, go to sportsfc.com or the iHeartRadio app or iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. Please leave a review if you're listening to us on podcast. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim for more of us. We want that. JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow for the Naughty Barrel downtown. Join us for Padres' final home regular season series of the year for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760. Bye. Tomorrow.